But with that being the case, man, we obviously know that after playing with Ryan and obviously him having his injury, you also got to play with their new first round draft pick in terms of Devin Bush. But just talk about what that experience was like for you, man, when you becoming the veteran mentor in a sense, man. You got this young guy coming in here, man. What was your thoughts when that happened?
I already knew we were going to get a Devin. We had to fill that role. People don't understand because we have such high caliber defense. I mean, we have such high caliber outside linebackers that it's essential to have two good middle linebackers in the Steelers defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they run the show. Like a lot of times I don't really participate in the conversation because people really just don't know football that well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it might be just more of a complex game for them to really get into the little nuances that it is. But you have to have really two solid middle linebackers to run the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It doesn't function without those guys.
Yeah.
So I knew eventually, we kept trying to do the stop gapping. We had Bostic coming there.
Mm-hmm.
We had, we tried to do it with Morgan Brunette,
Mm-hmm.
Mark Barron.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have guys that have a natural chemistry with each other to be able to pull off that. And I think once again, me and Devin just kind of had that natural chemistry. Like we kind of believed that football should be played the same type of way. We seen the game the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We understood the game the same way. We both were Florida linebackers. His dad played at Florida State under Mickey Andrews. I also played under Mickey Andrews.
Uh-oh.
He had a lot of cultural pedigree. So we just got along. We understood what we were looking at. We seen things the same way. It made them very easy to play with. There was a lot of natural chemistry there.
Nah, I like that. And you got to respect, man, that Mickey Andrews coaching tree, man. I've never been under it, but I respect the heck out of the guys that have been under it, baby. But with that, though, man, in terms of when you think of the criticism that Devin has received since then, now we know he had the ACL injury and he came back and it was a mixed bag in terms of the results. What do you make of what you've seen from him, though, since the injury in terms of how people say that, hey, man, he's a bust or he's not good enough, you should just move on from him? How would you respond to that?
Well, you got to understand, Pittsburgh is like the Lakers. The Pittsburgh, you don't get this until Most.
Facts.
This man, Arthur Most, played for the Bills longer than he played with the Steelers. But he has a Steelers podcast, and he retires as a Steeler.
Why you calling me out like that? Don't call me out like that, bro.
The Steelers fan base is the most polarizing football fan base. Maybe I would say right now the last 2 decades were probably even more polarizing than the Dallas Cowboys.
We in there,
like
man.
Like we're loved. We're beloved by many. I've been to many games where we've outsold the home team.
Facts.
And we've been in there. We walk in their trap and we take it over. And it's a whole bunch of black and gold. And it's a whole bunch of black and gold flags waving all over there. And I'm like, man, I thought this was an away game, but it's not. So I think that he has a lot of eyes on him, and I think the expectation is set so high because you have phenomenal first round picks like Minka. You have phenomenal first round guys like Ryan that was the protege of athletic linebacker. You have the protege athletic linebacker in Lawrence Timmons. You know what I mean? So the standard for exceptional first round play,
absolutely.
The standard is ridiculous. It's like defensive MVP or bust. Even if he performed adequately, they would still say that he's a bust. They said Bud was a bust. I was looking at Bud every day, and I was like, I'm like, yo, Bud is not a bust. And every day I would see on Twitter, or every time I would go out, people would be like, oh, Bud Dupree, he freaking sucks. And I'm like, Bud does not suck. And then that last year, they're swinging off his jocks, trying to get him to stay. I'm like, why would he stay? Like, no, you guys treated him horribly for 4 years. Well, he was a bust for 4 years. Bust because they bust.
Right.
A bust is somebody whose potential has been realized, and that potential is extremely underwhelming compared to what he was projected to be.
Yes.
That is what a bust is. Does that make sense? I mean, his potential's realized. There are no setbacks. He just sucks. This guy sucks. We thought he was good, but he sucks. That's what a bust is. Well, you have to wait until that talent actually materializes so that you can actually look at it and be like, oh, this is a bust.
Yeah.
And when somebody has a nasty ACL injury like that, clearly their progression has been halted or at least slowed down.
Correct.
Then you miss Tyson Alualu and freaking Tuitt. I would have looked like freaking garbage out there trying to play They're like, Vince, come back. I'm like, I'm not coming back to play without Tyson and Stewart. Come on, son. Like, what are you talking about? Like, who's doing that? Like, you want me to do what? No. It's the reason I stayed. Most I told you. Everybody was laughing. I was projecting. Me and my agent was talking when my deal was up, when I signed for the big bag. Me and my agent were talking.
That bag was nice, man. Salute you. We was all happy for you. He was like, yo, he made it. He's got one.
I was projected to get 10.5 on the market. This is what my agent had told. He was like, you're going to get 10.5.
Let's go.
I went to the Steelers and I was like, I'll take the 8.5.
Right.
Average.
Little hometown discount. Sean, okay.
Because of my front seven was phenomenal.
They're going to make you look good. Absolutely.
I didn't want to go play with a subpar front seven and get my face chewed off. And make more money and get beat up. Yeah, it was stupid. It didn't mean that much to me. It's like, man, I can make that. I can find another way to mitigate that. The cost of living in Pittsburgh is cheaper. I'll make that back in my mortgage. Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Facts.
But I wasn't gonna go somewhere and get my face ate off because I'm not playing behind a substantial defensive line. Like, you got to be a clown to do that.
I just love the thought process with it, and the fact that you were at a position where you could turn that down, because we know early on in your career, it's probably a different conversation, but once you matured, it's like, yo, I just love hearing that, because it shows that, hey, man, it's not always about the money. The fit does matter. And if you're
the fit matters more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't understand
absolutely. But that's something that a lot of people don't look at, though.
I will not say any names, but most, there are guys who literally have the easiest linebacker job in the NFL. They literally have to cover
untouched
the A gap in front of them and the hook behind them. That is literally their job. They don't have to make calls. They don't have to set fronts. They don't have to make checks. They don't have to make adjustments. They have the gap in front of them, and they have the zone directly behind them. And they have to do that for 60 plays. That's their game.
Yep.
It's an incredibly easy job to do. When you play linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to be covering number 3s. You're going to be covering number 2s. They're going to motion the back out of the backfield. You're going to have to go lock that up and play zero.
Hey, and you better be ready to talk, too. You got to talk.
You got to set the front. You got to make the adjustments. All of these things. You know what I mean? But you get to play with Cam Hayward, TJ Watt. You're going to have some guys around you that's going to help you get your job done. But it's a difficult task. But I was up for it. Like, I was looking forward to it. And I think Devin is going, to get back on topic, I think if Devin truly buckles down, he's going to have a great career here.
Yeah. Now, with that being the case, though, we obviously know that the 5th-year option was a big topic of discussion, as it always is with first-round draft picks. With Devin, with the context of the injury, with you obviously knowing him from playing with him and things like that, if you were the Pittsburgh Steelers, would you have picked up his 5th-year option?
No.
Why not?
Because Devin didn't earn his 5th-year option.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got to just look at it and call it what it is. Like, I'm not delusional by any stretch of imagination. But also, that could be a plus and a minus. You know what I mean? I texted them right after they did it, and I was like, we'll go out there and get $15 million next year.
Absolutely.
Like, instead of making the 10 you would have made.
You took the cap off of it.
Yeah, you took the cap off. Go out there, go Pro Bowl, and then be like, hey, now the rabbit has the gun.
That's simple. Seriously.
I always think it's better to bet on black anyway. You know what I mean? Keep the ball in my court. Put the ball in my court. I'm going to Kobe this hoe. And you're going to be looking like, dang, why did we give him the ball?
He ain't going to never give it back.
He's never going to give it back. It's over. Like, you know what I mean? And I think he's capable. It just depends on if you want to do it or not.
No.
You know what I mean?